You know, you ever felt so betrayed by someone you follow on social media, you have to make a video to call them out and say, hey, mate, you really Hi, I'm Christy. In case you're wondering why I'm wearing these tinted glasses, it is because I have issues that lead me to be hyper vigilant and hyper alert, and I am a tad upset right now. So these help reduce the blue light, and therefore my brain chills just a fraction. Yes, there is science. I am a former PhD physiology student, so I do like to look at primary research material. Right, so last night, as of taping of this, a content creator I follow, a stand-up comedian whose work I tend to admire, whose work online when he comes to Australia, I fucking love. Because I'm an Australian. You make a video about us and we're going to go flocking because, well, generally, most of the time, you guys tend to forget anything south of the equator exists. Unless you need something. So, yes, I happen to admire this guy's primary earnings of stand-up comedy. I love the way he completely changed how he approached stuff when he came to Australia, where, yes, stand-up comedy is a participation sport, and I do like how he is attempting to better his society. However, yesterday he put out a short video, and he really shouldn't have done it. Right. So he's put out this short video where he says, I want to know who. It's regarding the Epstein files. There's an email, apparently from some comedian. He says, I want to know who did this. And it has some details in it which can give you an idea, yet not a guaranteed, definite, confirmation of whoever it is ID, as to who it might be. He did not directly say, Internet, go sleuth, chuck out wild guesses, let us speculate. No, he did not say that. He said, I want to know who. So I don't have to, I'm going to paraphrase, deal with them or acquaint myself with them anymore. So, we being the fan base, heard something that he did not directly say, and we went ahead and did it. I am speculating by some of the pinned post that he put in there. He already knew who. So if he already knew who, and he's put up this I want to know, why has he put up the I want to know? That was a little confusing. Anyway, I did what a lot of the fan base did. We went looking. Now, my method of approach was to go to the Wayback Machine, key in a date, so I could see what was scheduled, not necessarily who turned up, because there was a date range that was given October, November 2013 at a particular place in a particular location in Florida. Right, so we've done that, and all I've gone is this person was on this date, because quite frankly, that person would have definitely, from my awareness of things, fit the bill. However, if I was an investigator, I would have had access to more information. So while I would have put my money on it, and lost apparently, I definitely wouldn't stake my life on such things. One thing I used to tell students when I was a sessional university academic, is never marry your theories. Divorce is messy. What does that mean? Never set any of your ideas in stone. Because things go wrong, people get it wrong. And I speculated, and it turned out to not be that individual. Though, again, I seriously would. It seemed to fit. It would not have surprised me. So, yeah, I put up my source. I put up, hey, this person was scheduled for this date. I was wrong. Okay. Here's where I figured out something was sus. My post got erased. Not my post, my comments that I posted. having a different. Oh, there's some Australian legal stuff regarding in my head at the moment. So the comments and replies that I pressed send post on had been removed. And comments were being made where this stand-up comedian has said it was this person. I felt used. Right? I felt disappointed, and I'm like, well, I'm definitely not doing that again. If someone asked me to do something, but not directly to do something, they've just hinted at it in a way, but in a way that they can say, I never asked that. Much like most manipulative people in the world would do. It's pretty much what Donald Trump says about Jan 6. I never asked them to do that. They just did it. So that was bad. And I'm like, oh, I do not trust this person as much as I did. Oh well, life goes on. I will learn my lesson. No. And then there's a part 2. Then there's the fucking part 2. Where, yeah, I'm definitely speculating a very high probability that this Friday, Tuesday Avianca has intentionally done this. So he could make this part 2. What was the part 2? Chastising those who actually went out and speculated. He revealed who it actually is. Apparently. I don't know. And then he gets mad at the fan base that he sent out to begin with. And yeah, I reckon he'll definitely be the I never asked them to do that. And as I said before, Donald Trump never asked Jan 6 to do what Jan 6 did either. Here's the thing though. What you did, mate, was worse. You set up your own fan base for shame. And yeah, the idea that you shouldn't chuck out wild speculative guesses, and the idea that AI is a piece of crap because it's conditioned to just please people and give them an answer, much like someone who's been interrogated for 15 hours will finally crack and give a false confession. And a lot of people don't like saying, I don't know what the answer is, because somehow that invalidates our value as a human being. Yeah, AI gets it wrong. There are other ways you could have gone about giving us that lesson rather than the manipulative bullshit way you did that, quite frankly, just reminds me of my only reason I'm still alive. Speculations. What you did, mate. With the first video was bad enough, but with the second video, where you shamed us for doing what we did, that admittedly you did not directly come out and ask it. That was disgusting. Here's why. In those people in your fan base who went out, looked for information so we could figure it out too, this redacted name, are people like myself. People who have been denied justice due to CSA and SA traumas, have faced injustice, and have had to deal with perversions of the course of justice. You caught up trauma survivors in your little stunt. You caught up neurodivergent people with your little stunt. You caught up a whole heap of well-meaning people with your little stunt. And you don't seem to care, because all you could focus on was the drama. Do you realise the bycatch you have gotten in the nets of your fucking posts? You absolute yanker. And then you try to shame us for trying to help you. What Epstein did was serious. No fucking shit, Sherlock. Some of us already know through direct experience how serious situations like that and people like that are. You put out a request for help, not directly. And then you shamed us for trying to help you. I'm going to hope you did not realise the trauma survivor, the judicial trauma survivor, the CSA and SA trauma survivor, the neurodivergent trauma survivor, the neurodivergent bycatch that you got in your nets of catching the drama queens in your fan base. You did this to your fan base, and you caught up well-meaning people just so you could make a point. There are other ways you could have gone to make that point. I do not think you realise some of your fans because of your part 2 of that fucking post. You used us, and then you abused us, and then you blamed us. You justified. This is why we don't like Americans, because you're fucking arrogant. Now, I am hoping you do not do something like that again. Because again, in your efforts to catch the dramatics from your own fan base, mind you, you weren't baiting MAGA. You baited your own fan base. I hope you realise the damage you have done, the setbacks you have caused in individuals from your fan base who were just trying to save ourselves because no one else did. And we're trying to save ourselves by helping expose these assholes. I am not an ends justifies the means individual. I never fucking will be, and I will tell you why. When I was 9 years old, and the cops finally found out what my mother's brother was doing, the cops decided to force me, under threats of removing me from my family, under threats of pain, under threats of being blamed should my uncle ever do that to someone again, to undergo a gynecological examination by a doctor I didn't even know. A doctor who, for some reason, thought inserting it was necessary to see if my little hymen had or had not been busted. Following that, my mother jumps on national television with an interview and gaslit Australia in order to pressure to not pursue charges against her brother. And she did this in my name. That's my name that was used there. 'Cause she was just trying to protect the family. The ends does not justify the means. You asked for our help. We helped you, and then you turned it against us to shame us, your fan base. Why did you do that to us? You arrogant piece of shit. There are other ways you could have gone about making that point. But what you did, you didn't directly ask. Abusers never directly ask either. Donald Trump didn't directly ask. Now, I've seen you bait the far right before. But you didn't bait the far right. You baited your own fan base. But I guess you can't bait your own fan base, can you? I really hope you reflect on the damage you have done, on the setbacks you have caused. Because if I feel like this, I damn well guarantee others do too. But others don't necessarily know how to speak up. Mate, we need you to not do that again. I don't think you realise how much trust from your fan base you've eroded. From people who are trying to help. But yeah, point made. We should not play internet sleuth. We should definitely not go chucking names out there. We should definitely leave it to the professionals. AI is conditioned to please us in its responses. That's why I tend to just manually search shit up myself. Yeah. You pulled the stunt, and in order to catch the dramatic, those who love the drama, you caught up well-meaning CSA survivors, well-meaning SA survivors, well-meaning judicial trauma survivors, and well-meaning neurodivergent people. And we really need you to not do that again. Because if you don't, you're a hypocrite. And we really don't need another hypocrite in the world. Like I said, I'm one person. But if I feel this way about what you did, I guarantee others do too. Please don't do that again. It's already horrendously hard for some of us to trust people. And to have someone who was safe become unsafe, I do not think you realize how dysregulating that is. people who are not that comedian. What have we learned from this? We have learned that the ends does not justify the means. We have learned that whenever you set out bait, you will get bycatch or unintended catches. We should not go super sleuthing. We'll leave that up to the experts. We should definitely not go chucking out people's names. I am trying really hard to not chuck in, and we'll never help that guy again. Because no, we do need to help people when they ask for help. But I guess we'll have to start waiting until they directly ask for help, won't we? What else did we learn? Generative AI is conditioned to give humans a response it calculates we statistically most likely want. This is why I'm arguing with my bloody AI all the time, because it's giving me answers I don't want. I prefer reality. I don't need to like reality, but I prefer it because I need to know what I'm working with. And as I used to tell my first year students, never marry your theories. Divorce is messy. Bet money on it, sure, but don't bet your life. And there is a lot of monstrosity in the world, and we should each try to not add to it. Apparently, according to another content creator, I think it was Other Words, or was it Monstrum? Shit, I can't remember. The etymology of the word monster. A warning that something's wrong with the environment. That's pretty good. There's a lot of monsters out there, which means there's something wrong with our environment. And we really should try to not add to the ugliness. Yeah, I am going to go about my day knowing that this video probably won't get much. We're already at 20-something minutes at the moment. But at least I have tried to make a positive difference of don't bait people. Definitely don't bait your fan base. There are other ways to teach people that something is impractical or is counterproductive. And what that comedian did was definitely counterproductive. I dare say he's eroded a lot of trust from his fan base. See, he wasn't baiting his ideological opponents. He baited his fans. But I guess you can't bait your own fan base, can you? Because they're your fans. Do better, mate. Fuck's sake.